want to play armchair psychologist just a moment.
Please.
And ask, yes, who doesn't love being subjected to that?
Yes.
What do you think that maybe also had a bit of an influence on Denton's death date? That all that thinking about approaching death?
Yes, for sure. I love that you've made that connection. Yeah, I think I'm generally pretty fascinated by mortality and the way we live, and thinking about death and talking about death, and absolutely that comes from what happened with my dad and having to think very seriously about, like, oh, am I going to lose him? Are we going to lose him? What does this mean? And even beyond just life and death, just the death of who someone once was, and having to see my father's life change, and him having to shift jobs, and walking with a walker, and falling a lot, and all of that. Even when you're lucky enough to have it turn out to be not a fatal diagnosis, you're still experiencing this total changing of your world. And I think there's some grieving for the world and life you used to have, either way. So yes, that completely went to Denton. I should say another revelation I had about Denton Little's death date, kind of a couple years after writing it, was that was also about the death of my acting career, which is really funny because, like I said, I always thought, I'd been totally positive I was going to be an actor from age 8. And then once I was actually out in the real world, acting and not always enjoying it and not always having success with it, it was so jarring, because it was like, but this is who I am. I'm an actor. And like, I can't, when I'm supposed to be something else. But then I kind of made the shift to writer. And even when I was finding the writing so fulfilling and really being like, oh, I love doing this, and this fulfills me in a lot of the same ways acting did, the storytelling component, even as that was happening, I was still kind of like, but I'm an actor. It was so, and that was how everybody knew me, on my friends, my family. That was like, they knew I could write and did do some writing, but I certainly never wrote fiction. And so when I look at Denton Little's death date, it's about this kid going through this death. The second book is, of course, called Denton Little Still Not Dead. So that he has made it to at least the second book. And
does that bug you a little bit, knowing that there's a spoiler going into book 1?
Yeah,
or is it mostly focused on humor and it's not that big of a deal?
No, I've made peace with it and have justified it in that way. But yeah, I'll still have people tweet at me like, oh, I was reading the first book and then I happened to see the title of the second, and now I know what's happening. And I'm like, I know, I'm sorry.
I thought this humorous book would end in tragedy.
Yeah. Yes, originally the second book was called Denton Little's Birth Date, which I hope would make people think, oh, it might be a prequel. But ultimately the publisher was like, this title's not very exciting. And so they kind of led the charge toward a new title, and we came up with Denton Little Still Not Dead, which I do agree is funnier. It's like a better title to hear, but it does give away things. Like I said, I've made peace with it, but I do have moments where I'm like, just in general, it's been fascinating seeing the way reader expectations affects their reading experience. I mean, it's an obvious thing to say, but there's a lot of readers who read Denton Little's death date thinking it was a standalone, because initially it wasn't made that clear on like the Goodreads page or anywhere that there would be a second book. And let me tell you, when people get to the end of a book they think is a standalone and it's not, they're not happy. They're not happy. They thought they were going to have like a contained reading experience, and suddenly it's like a cliffhanger. I'm going to have to read more book to like find out what's happening here. Which when I was writing it, I thought like, ooh, ending on a cliffhanger. Because people love cliffhangers. This is going to be great. And then they'll all want to buy the second book. No, that's not how it works. I think if people are going into a series, they want to know, they want a little like number 1 on the book itself. I think even that is one of the lessons I learned writing that book and going through the marketing of that book. It was like people want to know what to expect, how much book they'll have to read to conclude the story. And in the case of that series, they a lot of them didn't know. Now it's a little clearer, but
yeah. What scandalizes me is when people read the end of the book first. So like, oh, okay, everything's going to turn out all right. Now I can sit back and enjoy it. Yes. Like, no, that's not the. And like I can come to their house and jump up and down. Read my book the right way.
Right. Everybody's got their way. Yeah, my wife Katie is very much that because she just gets so tense. Like, how's this going to be? How's this going to turn out? That she would prefer to know. Sometimes we've even been watching a TV show and she'll like, assuming it's aired already, she'll be like, I just got to look this up on Wikipedia and see. I'm sorry, I need to look at the synopsis. She doesn't tell me because she knows I hate spoilers. I'm the opposite. But she's like, okay, I can watch this. Feeling less anxious because I have a sense of where this is going, which is interesting. Yeah. Yeah,
Mrs. Kent for watching something that I've seen, and she'll just turn to me like, "How does it end?" And I'm like, "I could never tell you that. You should divorce me if I did."
Right.
And she's like, "No, then I'll be calm." It's right. Like, oh, that's a stupid ending. I'm not watching this. Like, I told you it's gonna be good. Just stick around.
Right. Yeah, different people have different ways they like to consume their art, and that's okay.
No, it's not, Lance. If everybody thought the way you and I did, then the world would be a better place, and I'm standing by that.
Okay. Fair enough.
Well, I tell you what, I've got more